The ultimate purpose of human is to seek true happiness. It is a freedom of mind and makes everybody happy. It is the inner path because we can find it by our heart, can see it by our eyes, and we can practice it by ourselves. So, to understand the Buddha's teachings exactly and clearly, one should experience by oneself. To obtain this aim, cultivators have to understand all methods lead to pain, the problem of mental and body. What we can call them is Buddhist psychotherapy. In the modern medical systems, they study the diseases in two kinds of ways. There are psychosis and neurosis. In the same way, we can study the diseases in the Buddhist psychotherapy in two ways: physical diseases and mental diseases. When we give a glimpse of the Dhamma, we will understand that the teaching of the Buddha is not strange to the modern medical systems, because 2,600 years ago, the Buddha described all kinds of physical diseases and mental diseases in his Pali Nikaya. It is now a well-established fact that mental illnesses can be caused both by physical and mental factors or by a combination of both. Mental illnesses caused predominantly by physical factors have to be treated medically using methods such as chemotherapy, medication, electroplexy, and psychosurgery. Illnesses caused by mental factors have to be treated psychotherapeutically. According to this system of Buddhist psychotherapy, the mental factors that cause mental illnesses are identified as mental defilements, the kleshas. But in dealing with kleshas, one has to understand, one has to see and know both one's own body and mind. The mind, even in its normal state, is full of kleshas or defilements. However, this paper is focused on the discuss Buddhist understanding on physical illnesses and how to treat these illnesses follow the teachings of the Buddha. According to Buddhism, human beings are psychosomatic unit. All human beings are formed with mind and matter, nama and rupa. Mind and matter connect to each other according to Paticca Samuppada and 24 Pakaya. So, if we study Buddhist psychotherapy, we must know these two connections between mind and matter. As discussed in the law of dependent co-origination, Paticca Samuppada, and the analysis of 24 relations, Pakaya, everything is dependent on various other related elements. This universal doctrine is also very common and equal to the early Buddhist analysis of psychopathology. So, we can find out the causes which make the people get mental illness and abnormal behaviors. These causes consist of mind and matter. There are many causes. They are as follows: physical causes. Psychical background of individual is rupa. Therefore, we need to understand the four elements dhatu. To have physical well-being, these elements should be balanced. Otherwise, it will cause to mental illness. Psychological causes. There are three causes which can make mental disorders such as greed, hatred, and delusion. We are facing mental problems due to these three poisons. Chemical causes. To understand volitional action which are not only in the present life but also from the past life. Karmic influences belong to previous existences, and three excess of humors in the present life. Three humors are excess of wind, excess of bile or blood, and excess of phlegm. Cultural and environmental causes. There were two parrots in the Jataka stories. The parrot which is in the robbers is cruel. The other one in the hermits is very polite. Here, we must understand how an important environmental causes. Parapsychological causes. Parapsychological influences are also recognized in the context of Buddhist psychopathology as an outstanding cause leading human beings into various problematic behaviors and mental disorders. Generally, in the rural area, women are attacked by the demon. It is called parapsychological cause. The five aggregates, khandha, the six basic elements, four great elements Mahaptuta consciousness, Vinadhatu, and Spasakazadhatu, the 12 bases, Ayatana, the 18 secondary elements of perceptions, Dhatu, the analysis of four food, Ahara, the analysis of 24 relations, Pakaya, the analysis of faculties, Indriya, had been utilized by the Buddha in order to explain the psychophysical elements and their connection. One point we have to understand very clear before to find out about physical illness, that is definition of dukkha. According to definition of Dr. W. Priyadarshana, the Pali term dukkha coined in the early Buddhist canon has been used to denote every unsatisfactory human experiences and predicaments. According to the language difficulties, it is very difficult to find out an equivalent English word directly conveys the real meaning of dukkha. Therefore, English words such as satisfactoriness, happiness, distress, discomfort, dissatisfaction, sorrow, affliction, anxiety, anguish, unease are to be used here for the understanding of the true meaning of the term dukkha. As to philosophical and psychological explanation of the term dukkha, it represents three stages, namely as physical, mental, and cosmic sufferings or suffering of bondage. In the final analysis, Buddhism understands three forms of mental illnesses, such as mental illnesses caused by psychological reasons, by physical reasons, and as cosmic sufferings. Nibbana has been represented by Buddhism as the everlasting therapy which eradicates those three forms of mental sufferings eternally. As discussed above, the term dukkha has been used to convey three aspects of unsatisfactory human experiences and predicaments. But when it is concerned the contextual usage, the term dukkha primarily has been utilized in the Buddhist context in order to denote the physical sufferings experienced by the people. The Sakhavibhanga further explains that the meaning of dukkha as physical pain, physical discomfort, and painful and uncomfortable feeling born of physical contact. At the first place, the Buddha mentioned about this issue in his preaching as follow: Dvim, Bhikkhave, Roga, Katam Dvi, Ki Kokarogo Setasi Kokarogo, Disanti, Bhikkhave, Sadake Ikanarajana Ikampi Vasamarogiyam Patajanamana, Vipi Vasaniarogiyam Patajanamana, Tiny P Vasaniarogiyam Patajanamana, Katari P Vasaniarogiyam Patajanamana, Pankapi Vasaniarogiyam Patajanamana, Basapi Vasaniarogiyam Patajanamana, Visati Vasaniarogiyam Patajanamana, Timsapi Vasaniarogiyam Patajanamana, Katarasampi Vasaniarogiyam Patajanamana, Panasampi Vasaniarogiyam Patajanamana, Vasazatampi, Baopiarogiyam Patajanamana. Te, Bhikkhave, Sadasuj Labhil Lokasmam Yisedasaikanarajana, Myahatampiarogiyam Patajananti, and Natrikina Savihi. Here, we can see that the effect of mental on body very great. A mental patient's mind is sick. As a result, the sick mind makes his body also sick. It is difficult for a mental patient to see and know his sick mind because the mind is not a tangible component of a person. But it is comparatively easy to get a mental patient to see and know his own body, which is a tangible object of meditation. As repeatedly shown earlier, one becomes a mental patient due to mental or physical causes or both. Physical causes have to be removed mainly by medication, chemotherapy, shock therapy, and psychosurgery. Mental causes have to be removed by the application 7 methods of dealing with mental impurities, the kleshas prescribed by the Buddha and Sabbasava Sutta. All people, normal and abnormal, have kleshas in them. The difference between a normal person and an abnormal person is that the normal person is capable of managing his kleshas, whereas an abnormal person is unable to manage his kleshas. In order to see and know one's own kleshas, one has to cultivate mindfulness, sati. This is a difficult task for the mentally sick people. Therefore, one has to cultivate sati gradually. As given in Satipatthana Sutta, one must begin cultivation of mindfulness with one's own body or the body of another person. Mental patients tend to lose body awareness and therefore they lose control of their own bodies. Due to lack of body awareness, tension in the body gets increased or may lead to depression. While tension may lead a patient to criminal behavior, while depression may lead a patient to withdraw from society or even to commit suicide. Prolonged psychiatric medication may weaken the patient's body, including his nervous system. In addition, in Vinaya Pitaka, the Buddha has taught about physical illness as follow: Tenakopanasamayana bikinam saradaikanor batina futhanam yagupi pitorgakadi, Batampi Buddhamagakadi, Tatanakizahunti, Luka, Dubana, Upandapandukajada, Damanazantharagada, Adasako Bhagava Te Bhikkhu Kai's Luk, Duban Upandapandukajat Damanazantharagad, Disvana Ias Mintramananda Mamantesi, Kim Nuko, Ananda, Idarahi Bekukaza, Luka, Dubana, Upandapandukajada, Damanazantharagada, T. Idarahi, Bante, Bikinam Saradikan or Batin Futhanam Yugupi Peter Gakadi, Batampi Buddhamagakadi, Tatanakizahunti, Luka, Dubana, Upandupandukajada, Damanazantharugada T. Now at that time monks, afflicted by an affection occurring in the autumn, brought up the convey they had drunk and brought up the rice they had eaten. Because of this they became lean, wretched, of a bad color, yellowish, the veins standing out on their limbs. The Lord saw these monks who were lean, standing out on their limbs. Seeing them, he addressed the Venerable Ananda, saying, "Now, how is it, Ananda, that at present monks are lean, standing out on their limbs?" At present, Lord, monks, afflicted by an affection occurring in the autumn, bring up the conjee they have drunk and bring up the rice they have eaten. Because of this they are lean, standing out on their limbs. To resolve the problem above, the Buddha accepted his disciple use the 5 medicines, that is to say ghee, fresh butter, oil, honey, molasses, are medicines and are also agreed upon as medicines. And although they serve as nutriment for people, yet they cannot be reckoned as substantial food. What now if he should allow monks to make use of these 5 medicines at the right time, if they have accepted them at a right time? He allow monks a lower grindstone, a small grindstone, if there is a reason, to make use of astringent decoctions as medicines. Astringent decoctions from the neem tree, astringent decoctions from the kutaja, astringent decoctions from the pakkava, astringent decoctions from the naktamala, or whatever other astringent decoctions there are that are medicines. If they do not serve among solid foods as a solid food, if they do not serve among soft foods as a soft food, and having accepted them, to preserve them for as long as life lasts, he allows his disciple, if there is a reason, to make use of leaves as medicines. NIMP leaves, KUAJA leaves, cucumber leaves, basil leaves, cotton tree leaves, or whatever other leaves there are that are medicines, if they do not serve any of these medicines. If there is a reason to make use of fruits as medicines, vilinga, pepper, black pepper, yellow myrobalan, balearic myrobalan, amblyc myrobalan, GOHA fruit or whatever other fruits there are that are medicines, if they do not serve any of these medicines. He allow monks, if there is a reason, to make use of resins as medicines. Hingu, HIGU resin, HIGU gum, gum paddy, gum PA, or whatever other resins there are that are medicines, if they do not serve any of these medicines. He allow monks, if there is a reason, to make use of salts as medicines. Sea salt, black salt, rock salt, culinary salt, red salt or whatever other salts there are that are medicines, if they do not serve among solid foods as a solid food, if they do not serve among soft foods as a soft food, and having accepted them, to preserve them for as long as life lasts. If there is no reason, there is an offensive wrongdoing for one who makes use of any of these medicines. The Buddha also had shown to his disciple some medicine to threat their disease by material nature. However, one thing is very special and important to cure their illness, that is practice the meditation which shown in the sutta to be concerned. In the one praking, the Buddha has taught, Sadhu, Bante, Bhagavayine Asmakiramanando Tenu Upasankamatu and Yukampam Upadayayati. Saishko Vem, Ananda, Giramananda Sabikino Dasasana Basiayazi, Thanam Ko Paintam Vijayam Giramananda Sabikino, Dasusana Sutvaso Badhothanazo Patipasamhya. Katamadasa, Adnikasana, Anatasana, Asabhasana, Adanavasana, Prahanasana, Virgasana, Nirodhasana, Sablokanabhiratasana, Sabasan Karsu Anik Jasana, Anupanasati. Herein, the highlight of this method was mentioned by the Buddha what showed the physical diseases in this way. They are eye diseases, CAKKHUROGO, ear disease, SOTAROGO, body disease, KROGO, head disease or headache, SISAROGO, ear disease or mumps, KANNAROGO, cough disease, MUKHAROGO, teeth disease, DANTAROGO, cough, kaso, asthma, saso, cold, pinaso, burning sensation of the body, daha, cholera, visusica, leprosy, cutthum, boils, gendo, smallpox, rakaza. In the case of the Venerable Giramananda, to the alleviation of his sickness to enable him to get back to engaging in the practice of meditation. Here the text refers to pahanezana, the understanding of properly rejecting unwholesome thoughts, whatever thoughts of sensual pleasure, thoughts of aversion, thoughts of violence or evil or unwholesome thoughts that arise, they should be rejected, dispelled, abolished and caused to perish. This is the perception of rejection. Itananda, bhikkhu upanam kamavatakim, ayapadavatakim, vihimsavatakim, upanapan pap ekaguzal dame, nadhaveshti, pahihadi, vinadadi, vyanti karodi, anabhavam gamti. I am Vakatananda, Pahanizana. Whoever is successful in these attempts will reach a stage that is described as I am Vakadi, Bhikkhave, Bhikkhu Vastu Vidaka Periai Apothesu. Yam Vitakam Makankasadi Tam Vitakam Vidakasadi, Yam Vitakam Nakankasadi Natam Vitakam Vidakasadi. Akchekchi Tanham, Vivitaye Samyojanam, Samaman Abhizame and Tamakazu Dukasa. This bhikkhu is a bhikkhu who has gained control over the succession of thoughts. He will think whatever thought he desires to think, whatever thought he does not want to think, he doesn't think. He has cut off craving, with fetters removed, and with the complete penetration of conceit he has made an end to suffering. To reach this stage, the Buddha gives a detailed five-fold progressive description in the Vedakasanthanisiddham how all kinds of disturbing thoughts can be removed. He describes that one should avoid getting attracted or attached to any sign of arising thoughts that are connected with unwholesomeness, whether connected with desire, with ill will or with delusion: yam nimitam manazukarodo apajanti papakar guzela chandupazam hitapi dasupazam hitapi mahupazam hitapi, by referring to any sign that is connected to wholesomeness. Tasatamha nimita namnimitam manazukarodo guzelyapazam hitam. In this way those unwholesome thoughts get removed and the mind reaches a state full of tranquility, quietude and concentration. Te sampahana achatam vasidam santitati sanizdati ekoti hoti samatayati. If still some thoughts of unwholesome character may arise, he may also further remain alert by investigating the danger involved in these thoughts. 8. Tesampi vidakanamadinavam upaparakado yipapakar guzelavitakal chandupazam hitapi dasupazam hitapi mahupazam hitapi te pahayanti te abhatham gakchanti. And again he will reach a calmed and queen position of the mind to proceed further in his meditation. Again, in case of further distracting thoughts of the same impure character, he should proceed in the following manner by forgetting them as well as by not paying any attention to them. Te sam vidakanam asashyam anazakaro apajitabo, and if necessary to working further by stopping the thought formation process. Te sam vidakanam vidakas encouraganthanam manazakatabum, if he still shouldn't be successful then even forcefully he should beat and crush down these still arising thoughts. 12. Even with teeth clenched and the tongue pressed against the upper gum. Dantabhidantamadhayajibhayatalamahakasetazasiddham abhinagainhado abhinipalayato abhizantapayado, and any such unwholesome thoughts will get abandoned. So, this method also has taught by the Buddha in the other sutta are very clearly an essay to practice to prescribe these illness of mental and physical. In Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha has preached, Bhikkhave, Bhikkhu aranagado varakamilagado vasanagaragado vanizadati, palankam abhujiva, yujam kayam panadhaya, parimakam sadam upathrabhava. So satovara sazadi, satova pasazadi. Digham Vasisanto, Digham Asasamiti Pajanati, Digham Vapasisanto, Digham Pasisamiti Pajanati, Raz Sam Vasisanto, Raz Sam Asasamiti Pajanati, Raz Sam Vapasisanto, Raz Sam Pasisamiti Pajanati. In this sutta, the Buddha introduced in the following words: "This is the only way, monks, for the purification of begins, for overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the destruction of suffering and grief, for reaching the right path, for the attainment of Nibbana, namely the four foundations of mindfulness." However, we are concerned with satipatthana to be used for therapeutically purpose only, that is to cure mental illnesses. We cannot go very far in gaining spiritual achievements such as jhanas or realization of Nibbana. In case of mental patients, satipatthana has to be toned down and begin with a slower approach. Satipatthana Sutta guides us correctly to start with the development of body awareness, to be aware of one's own body or that of another person or persons. One's own body or that of another person is an object which can be touched and seen. The body is a tangible object. Therefore it is easy to begin concentration on it. The Buddha, in Satipatthana Sutta, has recommended the following 6 methods of developing body awareness. They are: developing awareness of breathing process; anapanasati, developing awareness on the postures of the body, sitting, standing, walking and sleeping postures; iryapatham, development of clear comprehension of one's own actions such as talking, thinking and bodily functions; sampajana, development of seeing and knowing the impurities of the body; paticula manasakara, development of awareness of the elements of the body; Dhatu manasakara, development of awareness of the process of decomposition of the body; Nava, Sivathika manasakara. It is also easy for a mental patient to see and know his feelings associated with his body and mind. This sutta makes it clear that people generally experience 3 kinds of feelings: I pleasurable to unpleasant, 3 neutral, neither pleasurable nor unpleasant. Mental patients without much difficulty can understand these feelings, particularly the first 2. A normal person in guided meditation can get to know and see several grades of feelings. Even pleasurable feelings can be divided into 2 groups: I mundane pleasure, samasasukha; 2 spiritual pleasure, niramasasukha. To cure all diseases perfectly, it is very important for the doctor to know that what kinds of symptoms the patient is suffering. When the doctor comes to know the symptoms of his patients, he can cure the disease. So, to cure our mental illness, therapeutic ways are sila, samadhi and panna, a noble truth, magga. Sila can cure our behaviors and samadhi will treat our mind. The last one, panna, can get rid of all defilements. The psychological and behavioral problems caused by hatred, dosa, kopa, bakopa, and so on are used as synonyms of dosa. All the form of hatred, either as self-annihilation or social annihilation, are comprehensively elaborated in terms of the concept vibhavatana. The person who is overwhelmed by lobha and dosa cannot perceive the things as they are. Therefore, this perverted mentality is known as moha. The deluded person regards what is impermanent as permanent, what is painful as present, etc. So, lobha, dosa and moha are considered as the unwholesome drives leading human beings into many psychological problems and into problematic behaviors. In the Buddhist teaching of Kamma, habitual action is understood in the context of psychopathology as the linkage which is conducive to bring some sorts of psychological problem and problematic behaviors into future existences from previous and present existence. Karmic influences belong to previous existence, and imbalance of the 4 elements and 3 humors are also concerned as the central and crucial causes leading human being into various psychological problems and problematic behaviors. The Karaniya Sutta mentions that some kind of hallucinations, anxiety and depression conditions caused by the invisible power, psychological problems and problematic behaviors are recognized in the Buddhism as the malevolent powers of ghosts, demons, or gods. The Milindapanha also recognizes of gods that are conducive to perform some dreams. Consequently, Parapsychological influences also are recognized in the context of Buddhist psychopathology as an outstanding cause leading human beings into various problematic behaviors and mental disorders. In conclusion, physical illness according to the preaching as taught by the Buddha, besides these medicine which shown by him in the Vinaya Pitaka can be threat human illness, one issue the most important is practice meditation. If one practice in the process of the Buddhist psychotherapy, he will be able to analyze things by himself and find the way to eliminate the main causes of his problems. We can understand what sort of character he has, what sort of mental illnesses he has, what sort of root causes are there and what sort of treatments he needs. The four foundation of mindfulness is essential to reduce our sufferings and to get free from sufferings. They all are definitely psychological factors, mundane or supramundane. Meditation is the best and better therapeutic for mental illnesses. The Buddha said that the four foundation of mindfulness is only one way for the purification of mind, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for reaching the noble path and for the realization of Nibbana.